Hey, Guy Powell here, and welcome to a special episode of the backstory on the Shroud of Turin. Myra Adams is with me right now, and she just had an amazingly successful exhibit and a partnership with the National Eucharistic Congress. And so I thought, what better than to spend a few minutes with Myra? She's been on the show a few times, and I thought it would be great to have her on again since she just had this wonderful experience. So, Myra, without any introduction, tell me, so what happened? What did you guys do?
Well, there was an event called the National Eucharistic Congress that was in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it was a Catholic event celebrating the Eucharist. And it was preceded by months and months of Eucharistic processions throughout the United States. 60,000 Catholics all gathered in Indianapolis from July 17th to July 21st. And we probably had between maybe 10 and 20,000 of them come through our exhibit. And our exhibit was actually co-partnering with Athonia, which is out of Rome. It's an educational institution out of Rome that has shroud exhibits all over the nation and the world. And Nora Creech, who I believe has been on your show before, Nora is the North American representative to Athonia. And I cannot take any credit because Nora is the one that produced the exhibit. And she produced it with the help of Athonia and wrote all the panels. There were 24 panels that were the body of the exhibit. And then we had replicas of the shroud. We had two replicas of the shroud. And we had a replica of the crown of thorns, a replica of the crucifixion nails, a replica of the tip of the spear. We had a speaking area where Father Andrew Dalton and Dr. Cheryl White were speakers, and Dr. Father Peter Magnum were speakers. And then Dr. Cheryl White had her own room at the exhibit because she curates the Richard Othorio collection. And that is a collection of sacred artwork from the 1500s. So that really brought in people. We literally had lines for hours. It was the most visited exhibit at the Eucharistic Congress. So, but we were National Shroud of Turin exhibit was in fact the umbrella organization that was the one that was sponsored through the National Eucharistic Congress, but it was partnered through Athonia, who produced the exhibit.
Yeah, that is so wonderful. And I can't believe you, we were hearing success stories right and left about what was going on. And, and having then the display of the Shroud of Turin, and then obviously the Orario collection with Cheryl White and things like that. That's just wonderful. Now, you also had a very special guest there that you gave a personal tour to. Tell us about that.
Yes. Oh, that just happened by accident. Not. No, those things don't happen by accident. Yes, we were very blessed to have a visitor by the name of Jonathan Romy, who I think, no, actually, I'm saying his name wrong. It's Rumi.
I think it's
Jonathan
Rumi.
Rumi.
Yeah, Jonathan Rumi.
Yes. And he stars as Jesus in the hit series The Chosen. And he has become very, very emphasized, very popular. So it was like Elvis and the Beatles were visiting our exhibit. So we had to actually literally shut down the exhibit for him to come through because he would have been mobbed by people. It's crazy, but he's actually he's a very humble man who none of this has gone to his head. He truly understands that he, quote unquote, has been chosen to play this role. And it's not about him, it's about him. And he's really a delightful man, and he loves the shroud. He's fascinated by the shroud. So we were very fortunate that his press agent and I had literally been working for months trying to figure out if it was even going to be possible because he had so many commitments at the National Eucharistic Congress. He was a keynote speaker. He's involved with Hallow, the Hallow app. So he just had so many different commitments that we literally had to squeeze him in between, this time and this time. And if we couldn't do it, then we wouldn't be able to do it. So we were able to make it happen. And I literally we had to shut the exhibit off for a little while for him to come through. But it actually worked out great. And he loves the shroud. So, and the other thing that's really interesting, of course, is he is going to be filming soon the crucifixion scene. So, which of course, heightened his interest more because some of the artifacts that we had, particularly the Richard Arroyo collection, we had a Riki crucifix that literally shows Jesus hanging on the cross that the Shroud of Turin, that is based on the Shroud of Turin. So he was literally looking at that. I have a great picture of him with Cheryl White, him looking at the Riki crucifix, seeing Jesus hang on the cross. That's based on, the Shroud of Turin. So it was really a fascinating visit. It lasted probably about 20 minutes, but that was really great. And we got a lot of press because of that. I mean, we got a lot of press anyway, just because we had so many people through. And when you have up to 3-hour wait time to get in and the hall is just crowded with people, everyone who came by was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Because so many more people wanted to come to it, but they didn't have 3 hours to wait in line. I mean, occasionally it was an hour wait. Most of the time it was about a 2-hour wait. It's like, it was nuts. But all it really points to is what many of us, this, anyone that's involved with the Shroud knows this. The Shroud has never been more popular. We are in peak popularity right now, and there is no ceiling. It's just, the graph just keeps going up and up and up. And there really is no ceiling. There can't be any ceiling because with God there is no ceiling.
That's right.
we know that. So it's just going to keep getting more and more popular. And this really opened a lot of eyes, particularly for Catholic leaders, when they saw these lines. So things are good. We are very optimistic that we are going to have some big news before the end of the year about our goal. Our mission is to produce a National Shroud of Turin exhibit in Washington, D.C., in downtown Washington, D.C., that can be placed in an area where tourists will come by. Anyone who's interested can come by because the name of the exhibit is The World's Greatest Mystery. And how much the mystery particularly brings in people without even faith, people that have never heard of the Shroud, or if they have heard the Shroud, like, oh, it's fake, But I heard a documentary about it one time, but I don't really know much about it. I mean, you have all different levels of knowledge, but the mystery really does bring in people with faith and without faith. People that don't have faith, like fascinated by the mystery, but people with faith, like, wow, is this the evidence that the Lord left of what I believe is his greatest act, which is the resurrection of Jesus Christ? So different people come from different perspectives, but so we want to have it in downtown DC and to make it, like open to anyone, and hopefully we don't have to charge. But that's our goal. And I think this Eucharistic Congress exhibit really has opened up doors. Like, for instance, I'm going to be on a radio show right after this on Sirius XM. It's called Busted Halo. It's a Catholic radio show on Sirius XM radio. And they read about us in an article that was about our exhibit on Alatia. And that's how they found out about it. One of them was at the exhibit, but the producer wasn't. So it's like we got press, and that press leads to more press and leads to donors and leads to Catholic leaders who want to get behind us. And we have a lot of wonderful things that are happening that I would love to tell you about, but I can't really say yet because I can't name drop, and I don't want to jinx some really big things that are happening, and they're not really ready yet to announce. But there are some really big things that I hope to announce before the end of the year that are just absolutely fabulous and will make you go, oh, wow, because they are,
Well,
oh, wow.
You always make me go, oh, wow. I mean, when I heard the success that you had at the National Eucharistic Congress and what you were able to do. That first of all, having a 1 to 2 hour wait to get in to see that is a testament to, to the shroud certainly, but also the Eucharistic Congress and bringing in people that
Yeah.
want to learn more and be more and understand more and believe, and increase their faith. And it sounds like you were a very big part of that. So, kudos to you.
Well, it's not me. I mean, the U is really, I don't deserve a lot of credit for actually the exhibit itself because, say, Nora Creech was the producer, and the Athonia folks from all over the world contribute to the panels. And Pam McHugh was a co-producer, and because she brought her own her replica of Jesus and some of the replicas of the crown of thorns and things. And so she had it was a life-size replica. And then Cheryl had her thing. So it was such an amazing team effort. It was under the banner of the National Shroud of Turin exhibit, but it was really an Athonia exhibit, and the team that Nora had put together. And you really need to have Nora on your show because she worked so hard for months and months and months to make this happen. And I hate to take any credit at all for it, but it is under the banner of National Shroud of Turin exhibit. So we are, as a team, getting credit. But I am really careful to say this was not a Myra production, but I'm executive director of National Shroud of Turin exhibit. So I will help steer this ship. And this ship is really going full speed ahead right now because we have such amazing people that love the shroud so much and are just so excited to share their love for the shroud with people around the nation and the world.
Yeah, well, and certainly, what you've done, but that's a good point. I'll definitely reach out to Nora as well and speak with her and maybe even Cheryl. It sounds like the three of you as being kind of the key people for even the National Shroud of Turin exhibit, which can be found at, and I'll do a plug for you, National Shroud of Turin exhibit.org. There you can find more. And I know, what you're trying to do is to set up, as you mentioned, an exhibit, a permanent exhibit in Washington, D.C. And money is everything. And if you're a supporter of the shroud and want to see more of the shroud and you want more people to experience the shroud so that skeptics can maybe be brought over and maybe use that as an evangelism opportunity, then fantastic, because the shroud is in itself incredibly powerful. It's just such an amazing, artifact and relic, and really has done so much for the world in terms of supporting that evangelistic effort that goes on.
And we call it the world's first selfie. And
yes,
and kids particularly love that because they can really relate to it. But you could make an argument that it really is. So
yeah,
but it is fascinating. I was going to put it in the brochure that the National Eucharistic Congress printed up for us. They printed up 50,000 of these that we gave out. We literally gave out all 50,000 of them. And I wanted to put on there under the mysteries, the list of mysteries, that it was the world's first selfie. And the vice president of administration for National Eucharistic Congress said, no, that's kind of disrespectful. And I said, well, maybe it's disrespectful, but kids can relate to it. And we really want to reach out to the next generations because the shroud has never been more popular, and its kids themselves are fascinated by it. And so we have to keep that momentum, going also.
Yeah, that's so funny. I was out with Pete Schumacher, and and there were a couple of youth there, and he always teaches the youth how to create a black and white negative image on their cell phone, which, with old photography, that's kind of what, what we always saw. But, people now don't need that because your cell phone just automatically takes a positive. And he was showing how to do that. And I think, the world's first selfie makes a lot of sense to bring on board the young and make sure that they get engaged with Christ, and then certainly with the shroud.
Russ Brio, who you know, and he's just written an amazing shroud encounter book that everyone should read. Are you reaching for it right now to
I
show
am.
it?
Yep,
Yes.
there it
Okay.
is. Great
Russ
book.
is
Really
it's
good book.
amazing. Yeah, Russ is one of our people. I believe the first time I ever heard the phrase that this was the first selfie, that the shroud was the first selfie, came from Russ. I don't know if he heard it from someone else, but I do recall he was the first person that I heard it from. So he's been saying that for many years. And
Yeah.
but it sticks with people. It truly does. So let's keep using
Yeah.
it. I have no problem with it.
That's right. Well, then it definitely is. So fantastic.
Mhm.
Anything else that you'd like to bring up? Any other big highlights from the event?
I just want to thank everyone that put the Shroud exhibit together. Someone that I didn't know that well. It's now really part of our team too, Pam McHugh, who's in Alabama, and she does traveling exhibits, and she's the one that actually has ownership of the 24 panels that made up the body of the exhibit, that are Thonia panels that were produced with all the Athonia expertise. But Pam is someone you should also have on, because she's one that had her own replica. It was one of Barry Schwartz's replicas, and she does own the panels now. So she definitely is a shroud expert, and she's doing wonderful things with trying to bring traveling shroud exhibits all around. So
Fantastic.
yeah, and she's really great. So I've gotten to know her a little bit, and I want to include her now, as part of our team. So I have to give shout out to where shout outs, really are deserved. And Father Dalton was also very involved with the exhibit. He's out of Rome. He's a shroud rock star. And he's just, his trajectory for shroud popularity, he does these YouTube videos that he's just so well known.
Yeah.
And for people who are interested in the shroud. So he's part of our team, and he spoke, and we just have an amazing group of people. So I don't want to take any credit at all. I'm just trying to steer a very, very big ship that's full of the most talented people you can imagine. And we all have people that we just love dearly, that we just can't even imagine doing this without people that we love and love the shroud. And it's all that love
Yeah, it
that comes
is.
together. And we all work very hard, just like you do. I mean, to promote the shroud is an honor, and to glorify the Lord through the suffering of his son, as evidenced by the Shroud of Turin, it's something that we can't even express how grateful we are that
Yeah.
we are involved with this work. And it's not work, it's a joy.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And I will admit it takes up a lot of time, but it's
Mhm.
like you want to do that. And unfortunately, you have other things to do, but you really want to spend more time on the
Right.
shroud. So,
Right. Well,
well,
you get sucked into it. I mean, that's
you
the
do.
thing. You
Yeah.
get sucked into it because you feel this power behind it and how important it is. And so we all feel that. We all get sucked in this most
Yeah.
amazing, wonderful way. That, if you have to get sucked into something, and the shroud is a great thing. But the power, it's that power of the shroud that just takes
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And
Well,
just
it
you
is the
end up
world's
spending
greatest
countless
mystery.
hours.
The
Yeah.
world's greatest mystery, and it's up to us to help to unfold some of that mystery, and help to educate and promote the shroud and Christianity, that obviously is a big piece of that. So, well, anyway, Myra, thank you so much. I just wanted to do a short thing to help promote what you've done. It sounds
Mhm.
like you've got a whole raft of things going on between
You
now and the end
do.
of the year, and I'm
Yes.
ready to say, "Oh wow," many times this year in your favor. So fantastic! Thank
Well,
you so
thank you.
much.
Thank you for having me, Guy. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely, Myra. Thanks a bunch. Okay,
Bye.
bye now.